Hello, I'd like to welcome you to the online video tutorial of Izzy, the Busy Squirrel. Now this game is really easy to play, but it can prove quite challenging trying to win it. Let me first introduce you to Izzy. And when he's not busy, you can see that he can play a mean banjo. Over here we have our opening menu options. Now they're pretty much self-explanatory, but I'm going to go over a couple of them quickly. Select this to bring up the instructions for the game, and there are 3 pages to these instructions, and just use the little hand to move from page to page. Now like I said, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here since I'll be explaining the game as we go along. Let's go ahead and return back to the main menu. Now down here you see you have the login button, and you can use this to sign in with your name, and when you do, the game will keep track of any high scores or awards you might win. Just use the on-screen keyboard to enter in your name. Let's go ahead and sign in with the name of, let's say, Izzy. So we type in I-Z-Z-Y. Now you can use up to 9 characters for your name, and when you're done, just hit submit. If you look down here, it displays your name, and we know now that we are currently logged in. So with that, let's go ahead and start the game and see what happens next. Okay, now here is the main screen where all of the gameplay takes place. The object of the game is to help Izzy place the 48 items that drop from the tree somewhere onto this area known as the playing field. Here, it'll tell you how many more items are left to place. Now the types of items you're trying to place are either acorns or one of 3 different shaped limbs. As you can see here, Izzy is currently holding an acorn with a value of 1. Now each acorn will have a value associated with it between 1 and 9, and there are 36 total acorns per game. To move Izzy, just place the mouse over one of the 16 areas of the playing field and it becomes highlighted. To move to that spot, just left click with the mouse and Izzy will move there. If that's the spot you wish to place the item, go down to here and select the bury button. Now acorns can be placed anywhere onto the playing field just as long as that spot is empty. For each item you can place, you're awarded 10 points. And items will continue to drop until either all the holes are filled or until you run out of items to place. Now we have an acorn with a value of 2. Let's place this acorn here. Now one thing I forgot to mention, Izzy has a poor memory, so it's up to you to help him remember what value acorns are buried where. And this is important to remember when we get to the second part of the game. Now here we have something a little different, a limb. Now there are 3 different shaped limbs that you'll need to be able to place, and a total of 12 limbs, 4 of each shape, per game. Now limbs, unlike the acorns, can only be placed to certain areas of the playing field depending on what shape they are. Ultimately, if you can place all the limbs correctly, it'll look something like this. So, with this type of limb, it can only go in one of these 4 spots, either here, 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 or here. Let's go ahead and place this type of limb here. Okay, now we see that we need to place an acorn with a value of 6. Let's place that one, let's say here. Okay, good. Here's the second type of limb we need to be able to place, a corner limb. And they can only go at the corners, either here, 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 or here. Let's go ahead and place this limb right back here. Now it doesn't make any difference which corner, just as long as the spot is empty. Okay, and here we have our third type of limb. Now this shaped limb can only either go here, 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 or here. Let's go ahead and we'll put that shaped limb there. Now items will continue to drop until all the holes have been filled. Then we move on to the next part of the game where we'll try to locate all the pairs of acorns that total 10. And when we find them, they'll be removed from the playing field. And you go back and forth between placing items, then removing acorns until all the 48 items have been placed. If you can do that, well then you win. But if a limb drops and you don't have a spot available to place it, well then you lose. Let me see if I can fill in the remaining holes without that happening. Okay, now here's where things get a bit tricky. Now I've kept at least one spot available for each type of limb, just in case one did drop. But now I need to place this one acorn in one of those spots instead. So I'm going to have to make a guess as to what type of limb I think won't drop, and then place the acorn in that spot instead. Now remember, if a limb drops and it can't be placed, then it's game over. So let me see if I can make it without that happening. That was close. Okay, good. I made it. Now we're at the second part of the game where we need to locate all of the pairs of acorns that total 10. If you look up here, it now tells us how many pairs are located somewhere on the playing field. And we will need to find all of these pairs before we can go back to placing items once again. Now if I remember correctly, we should have a 5 and a 5 somewhere around here. Let's see. Good. Is it here? Okay, good. Now, since they total 10, Izzy will remove them from the playing field and 20 points are added to our score. Now we just have one more pair to locate. Let's try, let's say here. And maybe here. Okay, now those two don't add to 10. And if you noticed, we've been given a whammy because they didn't match. Let's try two more spots. How about here? And maybe here? Okay, well, not there either. And I got another whammy. Now, I need to be careful here in that if I make another wrong choice, a third whammy is given. And if that happens, you're penalized. Let's see if I can not have that happen. Let's try, let's say here. And what's up here? Now that's a good example of how not to do things. So what happens with the third whammy is that all of our remaining buried acorns have now been scrambled to new locations, and 50 points were deducted from my score. Well, the good news is, I believe the last pair I'm looking for is a 6 and a 4. Since they've been scrambled, I have to go back and relocate them again. So let's try here. And here. And how about here? Good. Okay. Now, since all the pairs are now removed, I'm now back to placing items once again in the holes that we created. Let me see if I can go ahead and fill in the remaining holes once again, and then we'll go back to removing pairs of acorns once more. Let's put this one here. Okay, I didn't quite make it. Since I don't have a spot open for that type of limb, I'm afraid it's game over. But as you can see, this is a fun and challenging game to play. And the best part is that with each new game, the sequence of items are randomly selected, making every time you play a unique challenge. If you'd like to try the free demo of the game, please visit my website at www.pencilwedgies.com and select either the game or the store link to find out more. Well, unfortunately, this game is right now only available for Windows. Well, that's it for now, and thank you for watching. I'm going to go ahead and try this again. This time, I think I can win.